Good evening, guys. I just wanted to share a really quick story with regards to first impressions, and more importantly, the impressions that you don't know you're making on people. Now, anybody that knows me or has had coaching by me will know that I'm very big on really never knowing who's watching. Okay, so what I mean by that is, how do you act when nobody is watching or when nobody's perceived to be watching? Now, that might be in a working environment. That might be how hard do you work when your boss walks out of the door, when your manager leaves the room? Are you still working with as much integrity as you were when they were in the room? It might be on a personal level. How morally and ethically are you aligned with your beliefs when there's nobody watching, when there's nobody listening, when you don't know whether you can get away with something? Now, the reason this came up is yesterday. I've been away for the weekend, been up to Noosa for the weekend, came back with my wife. We went to get the dog from the kennels. We went to the Super Q Centre in Mermaid Beach. Me and my dog, we were going for a little walk. My wife went and did some shopping. Whilst we were walking around the outside of the Super Q Centre, my dog decided he would like to go to the toilet. And he did. He did a really big fat poo right outside Coles. Now, unfortunately, I didn't have the poo bags on me. My wife had them, and she was in Woolies. So, on the back of that, I was left in a bit of a predicament. Now, this is not a fun predicament to be in, because we've all been in that situation where you're thinking, can I get away with this if I just leave that on the floor? And I'm looking around over my shoulder, but there was that one little thing right deep down inside me that just said, you cannot leave that on the floor. And I couldn't. I was right. My dog was looking at me. He wanted to continue walking. He didn't care. Nobody was looking, apparently. Anyway, so I stood there for about 10 to 12 minutes. Then all of a sudden this guy from Coles walked past. I gave him a shout, asked him if he could run inside and grab me a carrier bag so I could clean up the mess. And bless him, he did. He ran inside, got it for me, cleaned it up, put it in the bin. No harm done. Anyway, me and my dog continued to walk around the Q Centre. We walked down to the other end of the centre, and we just sat down on the bench. A couple of minutes later, this lady walks up to me and she said, "You have just restored my faith in human nature." I said, "Excuse me?" She goes, "I watched your whole situation. I watched the turmoil unfold." And I was like, "Oh, you mean the poo situation?" She said, "Yes, exactly that." She was in the queue at Coles and she was watching out the door. I didn't know she was watching, obviously. And she watched me stand there, and she said, she asked herself, is he going to clean it up or is he going to leave it? And fortunately for me, I did. I cleaned it up, and she came out, bless her. She had one of those little clear plastic bags on her hand that she got from the broccoli section or whatever, and she brought it out for me. And she said, "I was getting stressed because I was hoping the queue would go a little bit quicker to bring it out to you." So she said, "Do you know what? You're a good person," and she made me feel great about it. And it was something really, really small, but it made me realise that we have to always be acting with the utmost integrity, because you genuinely don't know who is watching. Now, for me in this industry, especially around the Gold Coast and Southeast Queensland, we've got a face is out there, our brand is out there, our name is out there. What about your business? Do you have a business? What are people thinking when they see you outside of work, because you're still representing your brand? She might have been a potential client in one of our next seminars or our next workshop. She turns up and she sees that guy that left the poo outside Coles. All of a sudden, I've got a poor impression. And I know that's thinking deep down into it, but the point is, you just never know who's watching. So just thought I'd tell you that story, but I thought it was pretty funny.